What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hiro here from First Timers for First Timer Chef. Today we'll be making what's called miso soup. Miso soup. And it's kind of a side dish. You can eat it for breakfast. You can eat it as a lunch or dinner. I like to put rice in it. So I don't know if other people do that, but I like to do that. But since it's a side dish and I'm making dinner right now, I already prepped salmon and just cooked some vegetables that I saw, whatever we had, because you know, I don't like going to the grocery store if I don't have to, plus I don't like to anyways, and I don't want to make my mom do it. So just pretty much cooking whatever we had and making the best of it. So for miso soup, this will be my first time making it. We have tofu here. Organic tofu. Show you that right there. I already prepped them and cut them into squares. We have what's called wakame, which is a seaweed. It's dried seaweed, so once you pour water in here, you'll see them expand. They'll look like in the picture here. I cut up some onions and potatoes into like French fries shape. This is called dashi. This is soup stock, and it's made from fish. So that'll bring out the flavor. And this is the miso soup base. All of that will go up in here. I have this filled up to maybe a half to 3/4 away of this pot, and you'll see what's gonna happen. So I'm just gonna get to work, and you guys enjoy. Before I continue, just want to mention, if you're new to this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and if you're back, thanks for coming back. All right, I'm gonna get to it now. All right, just gonna start by boiling the water. So I'm gonna grab the wakame right now. Pour some water in it. Give it a few minutes and then you just see it expand. So if you guys are wondering where you can get something like this, dashi, they pretty much are sold in Asian markets. If you live in Los Angeles, you can go to Santa Monica. There's a store called Marukai. There's also other Asian markets. They should probably have them, but this is like more authentic, I would say. And those will be found only in Japanese stores. But other Asian markets might have something like it, but it is called dashi. This same thing you could also find in Asian markets. This is the miso soup base. Yeah, I mean, when I went to Japanese restaurants, while we're waiting for the water to boil, when I went to Japanese restaurants, I was pretty disappointed with the way some of them make it. I don't know if it's just because they don't want to emphasize it too much, because most of the places I go to are like sushi restaurants where they serve miso soup as a side. It's just soup, and there's no tofu in it, there's no onions, there's no potatoes. It was just soup, and that was meh. So I'm gonna make it the way I'm used to eating it, so you'll see how it's done. So as I'm still waiting for the water to boil, kind of a history that what I learned about miso soup is that it's fermented, so it's also made out of soybeans. So back in the day, this is something that was very healthy to eat. I mean, even still today, and so that's why a lot of Japanese people live long, because they eat these things. Today, like these days, everyone eats meat and really heavy foods, and I don't think it's that good for your body, even though it tastes good. But this is one of the reasons why miso soup is such a big thing, and it's part of the Japanese culture to eat miso soup. I grew up with it. I used to eat it only as dinner, but I could eat it as breakfast. I could eat it as a lunch. I don't care. Like I said, I always just put rice in it as a filler, and plus the rice absorbs the miso and it just tastes good. Even the potatoes, when it absorbs the miso, it tastes even better. Like that, I don't know what it is about potatoes with me, but there's something about it that it's just so good. But all right, it looks like the water's gonna boil, so I'm gonna continue. That was hot. Oh, check this out. The wakame has expanded. See that? That's seaweed right there. Alright. So first thing I'm gonna do is boil the potatoes and onions. I'm gonna turn this down to low medium. Put this in here. Woo! Alright, bring it back up. Let it just cool down. This is the dashi packet. Depending on how many people are eating, you can use the whole packet, but since I'm only making for 2, I'm conserving, so I'm just gonna use half the packet. I'm just gonna guesstimate, because then I don't have a proper measuring tool for this. I could smell it. Something that my mom would do. We're all about conserving here, because especially Japanese items, because it's so far away. Well, I mean, not super far away, but it's such a pain to have to drive there just for this. When we go to the market, we don't plan what we're gonna make, but if we do, then we go out and get whatever we need, like this. But usually it's when we cook here, it's whatever we have, we just make do with it. So that's why I'm not always cooking everything to like the full extent of authenticity, but we try. So conservation. So next up will be the miso and the wakame and the tofu. I'll be adding them all into this once everything is cooked in here in the pot. We are now ready for the next step. Wakame. I gotta put the camera down to do this. So that's the wakame. We're gonna add the tofu last. Right now, here's the miso soup base. So it's supposed to dissolve really. Here, actually, I should use this. Give me a sec. To do this properly, we're actually supposed to have a spoon like this, but it's like a strainer. So you drop this in the soup and then just slowly press this out on the edges, and then it just dissolves into the soup. But since I don't have that right now, I'm just gonna use this, pour a little water into it, and just squish it on the side until it dissolves, until this is all complete. So you'll see what I'm doing right now. Make sure you guys can see. Alright. So I'm just... It's a little... This is like the most complicated part of the process, I'd say. I'm not sure if I'm doing it right, but I could see it dissolving. So now might be a good time to, while I'm doing this, add the rest of the tofu. Multitasking here. Dropping it down to low heat, because because at this point you don't want it to boil, because then it will take away from the flavor. So I just want to mention I have never done this before. I've watched my mom, but like I said before, whenever it comes down to me doing it by myself, I always have to check again, even with like written down instructions that I have. I can smell it. It smells so good. I love the smell of miso soup. Like I said, not the proper tools, but it works. If you guys ever had miso soup, this is the color. So at this point, I think I'm just gonna taste it real quick and see if I can just turn off the burner. Depending on how this tastes, we can conclude this meal. Alright, so there's a little bit in there on this plate. I'm just gonna slurp it. Oh yeah, that's the taste. Yep. So I'm just gonna turn off the burner because we don't want it to get into a boil. So that's miso soup. Now, to put it in a bowl. This right here is a huge bowl. Proper miso soup bowls are very small. They're like, you can hold it in your hand. It's like usually black on the outside, red on the inside. I'll show you a picture of it in the video. But this is like almost, I could say this is like a pho bowl, like a Vietnamese soup bowl. This is almost even the size of that pot. But I'm gonna pour it in here and then show you what it looks like with everything else. I also chopped up a little bit of green onions we have growing in our backyard now. Trying to grow a little garden so we don't have to go to the store so much. But this should be to decorate. That did not turn out so well, but hey, I tried. It's supposed to like kind of pile up in the center, but whoops. But anyways, like I said, I prepared this meal right here in advance because this is not I wouldn't consider this a Japanese dish. This is kind of a make whatever you got dish. So this right here is a Japanese dish. So since you can't just eat this by itself, I mean you can if you wanted to, but it's a side dish. So here's the full dish right here. All right, that'll do it. All right, so this will conclude this episode of Cooking with Hiro. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave that in the comments below. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Anyways, until next time, peace out. First timers out.